Okay.
Everyone, it's 10 o'clock. We have a quorum. And I hereby call the 2026 annual meeting of the Property Owners Association of Lake Hayward to order. We're going to do roll call of the board members. Good morning. The roll call for board members: Kathy Jacoby here, Wendy Borak here, Jeff Lynn Clark here, Dave Giroux here, third beach, Nancy Kavanaugh second.
Nancy, come on.
She's here. Fred Montanari first speech. Here. Chris Papalucci second.
Here.
Julie Chiavi third speech.
Here.
Brian Smith first speech.
Here.
And you got Lisa Holber's not here, treasurer, and Lynn Christie tax collector. Thank you, Kathy. So if you signed in and you're a registered voter, you should have received a paddle and a ballot for the Board of Governors election. Please remember to return your paddles to the front desk before you leave. When speaking today during the meeting, please come up to the mic, state your name and your address for the record. And we ask that everybody limit their comments to 2 minutes. Each member may speak twice on any one subject, but after everybody has had a chance to speak once. Most importantly, let's keep today's discussion respectful and productive. We'll all share a common group with the goal of doing what's best for Lake Hayward, and although we may not always agree, the neighbors first. Okay. So I don't know if you all saw the agenda, but we've been using a new format for probably a year or more now. So when the agenda comes out, anything that's in red is what we go over. So we just don't go straight down the agenda anymore. We want to be effective and efficient, and not take your time where we don't need to. So on behalf of the Board of Governors, thank you for attending today's annual meeting and for your continued support of our association. Whether you volunteer, attend meetings, serve on a committee, or simply stay informed, your involvement helps make Lake County Board a wonderful community that it is. This past year, the board remained focused on improving our operations, protecting our assets, and planning responsibility for the future. One of our largest undertakings was the implementation of new parking detail program. Today marks the final in-person exchange of parking passes, and I sincerely appreciate everyone's patience and cooperation throughout the lengthy process. And a big thank you to Julia for all her hard work and effective tomorrow, August 17th, the orange hang tag passes will no longer be valid. If you have not received your new parking details and guest passes, we'll discuss the available options today later in the agenda under security. We also continue improving our association website to make information more accessible and strengthen communication with our members. I would like to thank Craig Montgomery and Brian Smith for taking on this important project. Brian will continue updating the website to ensure members have easy access to association news, documents, and important information. Thank you, Brian.
Thank you.
Another highlight of the year was another successful Lake Hayward Carnival. This event is truly a community effort. It was a great turnout, and I just want to thank every volunteer, committee member, sponsor, and participant whose time and dedication helped make it another wonderful event for our families and neighbors. A special thank you goes to Lisa Sobey, here, Diane Nelson, Rich Butler, and John Jacoby for their outstanding leadership in coordinating another successful carnival. So as we continue moving forward with the Lake Hayward Dam Rehabilitation Project, I'd also like to recognize the generosity of the East Shore neighbors. The voluntary contributions over the past 5 years now total $60,575.37. Including, so just this year, is including $35,575.37. That was just this year. The higher was over the 5 years. To total was 60,000. So it has changed our mill rate from 6.8 on the special assessment to 6.3. So it was definitely a partnership that's helped lessen the financial burden on and the impact on property owners over here. So a sincere thank you to them for their support. So financial stewardship remains one of the board's highest priorities. So later today, under new business, Stage Rue will present the board's proposal to establish a financial subcommittee, which will assist the board with long-term financial planning and provide recommendations on matters affecting the association's financial future. So looking ahead, we'll also be forming a bylaws committee during the winter months. They run between January 1st and April 1st to review the recommended updates to the governing documents. We encourage members to participate and to make it easier for our seasonal residents to be involved. Meetings can also be held virtually. So if you're not at the lake and you would like to be on the bylaws committee, the meetings can be held virtually. If you're interested in serving on the committee, there's a sign-up sheet up here. So after the meeting, you can sign up for that. Before I conclude, I'd like to recognize Nancy Kavanaugh, sitting in the back, for her dedicated service as the Second Beach District Representative over the past 2 years. Nancy has generously given her time and energy to the association, and on behalf of the Board of Governors and our membership, I want to sincerely thank her for her service and wish her all the best. Thank you, Nancy. I'd also like to thank my fellow board members, our committee members, and every volunteer who has contributed their time throughout this year. The board may not always make every decision with everyone agrees with, but I assure you that every decision is made thoughtfully with one goal in mind, making decisions that we believe are in the best interest of Lake Hayward and its members. Thank you for your trust, your participation, and for being here today. Okay. So we're going to move on into the financial reports. Lisa Holber could not be with us today. She is out of town. We're going to have Cassie, our secretary, read Lisa's report.
Our 25-26 budget finished in the positive, returning approximately $4,000 to unallocated reserves. We also received $11,891 from the town of East Haddam for lead quality and reimbursement. This amount went directly to unallocated reserves. The budget committee did a great job paying attention to our considerable expenses last year and projects going forward. We deserve our gratitude for all the hours spent meeting with member representatives and preparing historical reports from our accounting records. With increased collaboration with the Board of Governors, continued off-season communication with the Budget Committee, and as always, concise reporting of taxes from delinquency, I expect our finances to remain stable and healthy, with revenues meeting or exceeding expenditures within the member-approved budget limits for 2026-2027. This is possible without the countless hours of volunteerism provided by our members. The time, effort, knowledge, and commitment contributed by our volunteers is essential to the continued success and financial stability of POALH. Their willingness to give their time for the benefit of our community is deeply appreciated and deserves our sincere gratitude. Please consider volunteering.
Thank you, Cassie. Is there any treasury questions that anybody may have? Okay, thank you. And there are financials on the website now. Next is our tax collector, Lynn Chrissy.
So thank you, everyone who's already paid their property taxes, their first installment or in full for the coming year. Much appreciated. We have approximately 20 bills that are outstanding, like notices have been sent, but we're well underway to finishing up this first tranche in the collection of taxes for the association. For the assessment bills are here today. If you'd like to pick yours up, we'll have them after the meeting. We'll follow the same sort of sign in, pick them up procedure that we do with taxes before the owners meeting earlier in the year. Just be aware that we will not be cashing or depositing any checks until September 1st. There's a separate account for it. 100% of the funds for the assessment go into that separate account and to the benefit of the dam. Any questions? One of the things that we talked about in past, someone said, well, how do I budget for this? And what I've said to you is take a look at your total property tax and multiply it by 2. But again, as Laura mentioned earlier, with the donations of East Shore and the other monies that we've received, it's less than double. So, you know, if your plans are double, you've more than covered for the coming year. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
Does anybody have any questions or comments for that? Okay, thank you. All right, we're going to move on to the presentation of the 2027-28 operating budget. With Tiff Milgo.
I'm at the table, I know. I don't know, I'm a little nervous being up on this table here. Okay, so just before I start anything, I just want to recognize the rest of the committee. I am the chair, but certainly it was a group effort. Other people on the committee, Vance Kavanaugh, Gail Pinky, Keith Marvin, and Mike Sullivan. And this was our second year together, so it was nice to have a group for 2 years. It made the process a little bit easier. It went, smoother because everybody had some experience, in the process. We just went into the meetings this year with the goal of keeping the budget as close to last year's budget as possible. We knew that the special assessment could be a financial, I don't want to say strain, but just another expense for people. So we tried to keep the budget as close to this year as possible. That being said, we ended up with an increase in expenses of 1.1%, which we felt was pretty reasonable. Most of that was the 5,000 increase in the insurance expense that are anticipated. I know the board is working hard to look at other insurance options, other carriers, to make sure we keep that cost as low as possible, but we felt that we should be prudent and put in, a $5,000 increase just in case. The other thing that impacted the budget a bit was the fact that our interest income, because a lot of our money that we now have in our accounts at the bank is going to be spent on the dam. We're going to have less money invested, so our interest income is going to be lower next year. At least we anticipate that. So again, we felt, we did a pretty good job of keeping the budget as low as we could and still meeting the needs of the community. I know that there's been some discussion about the budget increase and how much the budget seems to be going up and taxes are going up. So I took a look back, like 4 years ago, and I compared our total expenses 4 years ago to the budget that I'm presenting today. And the expenses during that time went up $30,000, which I know is not an insignificant amount, but 27,500 of that was for the garbage pickup. So if we take that out of the equation, for the last 4 years, the budget's gone up the expenses have gone up $2,500, which I think, again, is pretty reasonable. The garbage is kind of what it is. So, I know that I believe the contract is coming up with them in the spring, and I know there'll be some other options looked at if there are any out there, and try to keep that, as low as possible. So that's kind of the budget. I hope you were able to look at it online and read the summary, which pretty much goes through every line item. There's much that's today. The other thing that I wanted to talk about a little bit was where our capital reserve balances are right now. Again, Lori sent out some information about that, but just to go through, our general reserves are about 80,000. We have 140 and change, 140,000 set aside for the dam. And again, that's just for the dam. We cannot spend that on anything else. So that's, we have 3,900,000 there for the courts if we need to resurface them or whatever. 5,000 for the pavilion. Almost $3,800 for the playground, which is what was left over from the reserve after we installed it. I'm thinking that will probably be used in the future if it needs new mulch or whatever the case may be. And then $6,500 for walkway. So our total reserves right now are just short of, it's about $240,000. I don't know. That's
pretty much what I have. I'd be more than willing to take questions. If anybody has any questions I can answer about either the reserves or the budget. Okay, so motion that the budget is approved as presented. Can I get a second? All in favor? Raise your hand. Anybody opposed? Thank you very much.
Thank you, Tish. The motion passes. The budget passes. Thank you to the Budget Committee for all your hard work and everything you do. Okay, next we're going to move on to the presentation of the candidates and nominations from the floor, and then we'll have a vote on the nomination committee's slate. So without further ado, Dale Kincaid is our chair.
Good morning. How is everybody today? It's gorgeous out here. I'm so glad you came out. It's like for that. It's gorgeous. So, as Laura mentioned, I was the chair of the nominating committee this year. We had one open position for the Board of Governors, and we had 3 incumbents in which to continue in the position that they had. We had 5 strong candidates for that one position that was open. We're delighted to see participation from some very new members of the community. I think the more that we introduce what the Board of Governors has been successful in doing, we'll see more people added to the list of people who want to contribute, have definite skills and thoughtful suggestions and ideas to bring forward. And I really appreciated that. Just to let everybody know, the nominating process is to complete a nomination form and submit it to the secretary. The secretary then, as well as I, confirm with the treasurer and the tax collector that you are a member in good standing. We then do an interview process and talk about what are your strengths. How do those strengths support the expertise that the budget that the Board of Governors is looking for in order to provide a well-balanced discussion in each of the board meetings that everyone is welcome to listen into. We also have, sorry if I don't read my notes, I only do this once a year, so I'll make sure I don't miss anything. We review the code of conduct, the number of meetings that people are expected to attend, and the specific suggestion that each Board of Governors member is responsible for chairing and leading projects. So the more information there is, and the more information I can provide, we try to do that. The nominating committee then votes on their recommendation for the ballot. This is not a single decision made by any one person. Our nominating committee is Judy Blanchett, Pat Armstrong, and Dennis Bryden. We get together, we make a decision, and the same process is used for the incumbents who are looking to continue their tenure on the Board of Governors. The nominating committee is recommending Brian Smith for first beach, Patty Fazio for second beach, Dave Drew for third beach, and Cassie Jacoby for at-large. Each of you have been given a ballot that you're welcome to take a look at. In addition, I am asking whether or not there are any nominations from the floor. If not, can I make a motion to ask whether or not the membership accepts the slate of candidates recommended by the nominating committee? Thank you. All in favor, please raise your paddles. Thank you. Any dissent? Thank you. I think it carries. Thank you. Thank you to all the candidates who came forward this year. I look forward to working with you in the future.
Thank you, Gail, and thank you to the nominating committee for all your hard work. And just so you know, normally we would introduce Patty Fazio. She was the newly elected, but she is not here today. She couldn't be here. So you'll see her out and about, at some point, but, we're all happy to have her on board. So next we're gonna move into, we created a garden committee. There was several email blasts and a lot of participants. And so Lynn Chrissy and Jim Bennett are the co-chairs of the garden committee. So, Lynn is going to tell you a little bit about, their committee and their objectives.
Normally Jim is going to be doing these conversations, but he's in Maine today, lucky man that he is. So there are 15 active members of the garden committee. If you're one of those active members, can you stand up for a minute? I see you all out there. So all of our members have adopted a garden. They have just, aligned themselves in particular with one of the main gardens here. That doesn't mean that there aren't other areas that we won't address. But I thought it might help to get you up to date with what we're doing, just by pointing out the objectives for this year for each of these main gardens. So for First Beach, we have an active group. If you look out and you notice that there's shrubs here have been trimmed, the shrubs around that tree at the end have been trimmed. Those are the first steps, because the next step will be trimming this area here. They'll be taking over this maintenance, making sure that things are at a particular eye level, and as things need to be replaced, they'll be in charge of nominating or making sure that that happens. Doesn't mean, by the way, that they can't call in more people to help. That may happen, depends on the size of the project, because the garden as a group is there to support each other. We may also put out requests from time to time for help in sourcing plants. We have a lot of great gardeners here at the lake. And so where we can reach out and you can share things that, boy, you wish they hadn't planted quite so many of those, please feel free. Out at Second Beach, there are two groups. There is a formal garden group. That's that garden that goes along with the fence that is in the entrance toward the actual beach. And so that garden is going along. Maybe a couple of extra plants to go in there, but for those of us who have seen it, they've done great work on it so far. Beautiful. Then there's the rain garden. So the rain garden is that whole area along the coast. So what have we done so far? Dodder removal. If you want to know what dodder is, come talk to me after the meeting. It's a terrible thing, and it's sort of an ongoing project. But one of the other things that we know, this is like here, things have overgrown. And so what we're going to have to do at that one, be patient with us. We're going to wait till the leaves come down, because we've got to deal with bittersweet and rose and Virginia creeper. We've got to get all of that out. And then again, we're going to be trimming, bringing things down to a level on that garden as well. And then Third Beach, for those of you who have seen that beautiful garden, and one of the entrances as you walk in, it's a shade garden. And again, it just looks wonderful this time of year. So I encourage you to take a look. But we're also going to be developing some additional projects. We're getting together a little later this month. So the sign at the north end of the beach, the sign at the south end of the beach. We're going to be talking a little bit about Little Beach and what could or should happen there. So if you are interested, and this is something that you would like to be part of, please feel free to approach myself, Jim Bennett, anyone on the board. They'll get your name to us, and come join the garden committee.
Onto the whole work garden committee. It's a pleasure to see how many people we had take part in that. Are there any questions for Lynn? And she's walking. And again, if there's any committee, including the garden committee that you're interested in, we have a sign up form here. We have a share form that says any committee, so you can put your name down and put the committee you might be interested in. And as I said, there's also a link to the bylaws committee. And then we both have another one that I'm going to address in a few minutes. Okay, I don't see Benny. Is Benny already here? Danny. All right, so Denny was supposed to be here. He and I are co-chairs of the Eloquent Committee. And he gives a fabulous presentation, which I do not. So we were going to discuss the bio retention basin, which as of late, and I say as of late, in the last few years, we've had a lot of erosion and heavy rain issues. So with that said, the basin is going to, we're looking at doing some refinements to the basin. Well,
I have a question. Is it, I only know of one basin, which is Factory. Are you talking about that?
Can you just wait a minute and then you can come up to the mic, okay? I don't know if Wolf is still here. Or Tim. Wolf, would you like to come and talk a little bit about it? Would you like? Sure. I think you and Danny would do a better job than me.
Okay.
So, I think Danny's going for that.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. First of all, I have to, I'm on the dark side, but I'm on the Olympic committee, and we are interested in limit the amount of nutrients going into the lake, because that's what the algae lives on. So far, we've been pretty good this year. There isn't any algae yet, but it's so our detention basin is right behind the tennis courts right here. The problem is that the water just runs right through it, from the inlet to the outlet. So what we're looking at doing is putting a small berm around the outlet so that it can fill up some and get a chance for the nutrients in the water to absorb into the ground instead of going through it. So that's the gist of what we want to do. And
Right, it's a refinement.
it's a refinement, yes. And I don't know what else I can say about it, but thank you very much.
Does anybody have any questions for Wolf on the refinement of the bio detention basin? Can you come up and
That's Jenny. I live at 204 Lakeshore. My question would be, since it's right across the street from me, I see like a lot of people use the courts and everything. How are they addressed like mosquitoes if there's water like retaining in it rather than doing what it does now, I guess?
Okay, good, very good question.
Because I don't want to kill them and then we have good stuff going in the lake anyway, you know?
Well, we also want to make sure we take care of the potential mosquito problem.
Yeah.
And we'll do that by having a couple of perforated pipes that are going to go right through the, and they will slowly drain it after a heavy rainstorm. And so normally you should see almost nothing in there.
So then that water then goes where, under the road or something?
Yeah, it goes to this catch basin right here and then.
It drains right here. Yeah. I was just wondering what they were doing. No.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you. Wolf takes a large part in the lake quality sampling, and we thank you, Wolf, for all that you do. I also wanted to mention, once the biodetention basin is refined, we're also looking at the garden committee and it'll take place with inland wetlands as well, to create a rain garden in there that will also help absorb the nutrients and take care of bugs, if you will. So that was another part of it. I just wanted to tack this on to this is part of water chemistry and so forth, and one of it is pumping your septics regularly. It's really important. There have been many initiatives that I've seen throughout, and I know some of the board members here in the past have been on different initiatives to get people to pump their septic systems. They also contribute to the nutrients in the lake. So we have a proposal from Ready Rooter, and they're sharing a summer discount rate for group pumping. And I can tell you, I know about this because we did it. I did it with 2 other people on my street, and he charged $340 because we have 3 people. I know we called a couple other, and they were 400 plus. So if you are interested in his information or how to reach his name is Dan. I have his phone number, and if you can get a couple of people on your street, you can get a discounted rate. And he will also, if your septic is covered or buried, he will also dig that up for you, but it's an extra $50 charge. So just let me know if you'd like that information. Okay. Going to do the board voted to start a pavilion oversight / use committee. There have been a lot of instances where there are events and go back to the insurance, and perhaps there are things that should or shouldn't take place, and so we have we decided to create a committee, and Mike Marshall has offered to graciously chair that committee. He couldn't be here today, so he has a report that he would like for you to hear. And there are also 2 other people on the committee, Lisa Hofer and Tom Mell. So thank you.
You're on, you know, you're on a committee.
So this is from Mike. He says, hello, my name is Mike Marshall. My wife Barbara and I have a cottage at 127 Wildwood Road, the yellow one with the gazebo. We have been here since June of 2022, so we are not new, but we're new, but not brand new. I'm sorry that I can't be here today. We are away for a family wedding in Ohio. As you probably heard at its last meeting, the Board of Governors approved the formation of a small committee to consider the appropriate use of the pavilion for private events and asked me to serve as chair. The pavilion and beach are a gem for the property owners to enjoy, and they anchor much of our community activities. The committee's purpose is not to revisit a particular event or past decision. Our assignment is to look forward and develop recommendations that will help the board and its committees make clear and consistent decisions about future use of the pavilion. As part of that work, I believe we should recognize that not every event presents the same considerations or level of risk. The goal should be a practical approach that provides appropriate oversight without creating unnecessary rules or bureaucracy. We are looking for volunteers. We're looking for 4 to 5 property owners who would be interested in serving on the committee. I would hope the group includes different perspectives, so there is no point of view or professional background we're looking for. What matters is a willingness to listen, participate constructively, and help us arrive at a balanced recommendation for the board. Again, I am sorry I couldn't be there in person, but I look forward to getting the committee together and beginning the discussion. Lori has my email and phone number if anybody wants to reach out. And I also have a sign-up sheet here for that committee as well. So, so there's a sign-up sheet for the Pavilion Oversight Use Committee, another one for the Bylaws Committee, and then another one for any other committee that you might be interested in. Is there any questions that I might be able to help you with in regards to that? Shaking that way.
I should. But I did.
This back 338 Lookout Drive.
Is there anything in the bylaws that tell us what we can use this for?
Good question, Lynn. So that's another reason why we're having a bylaw revision this year. We want to include things such as what this committee is going to do. This is an ad hoc committee. When it's completed its work, the committee will go away. And when they present to the board, that'll be information that we pass on to the bylaws committee. So these type of things will be in the bylaws. And another one will be in regards to, we are going to talk in new business, as I mentioned, about the Board of Governor subcommittee for the financial initiative. So that'll also be something that will be brought into the bylaws, as we currently do not have any financial guidance from our bylaws, so we want to incorporate that. Is there any other questions regarding the pavilion?
Larry, it's already 126 Lakeshore Drive. I'm just wondering, is the maintenance and cleaning and everything that was on the committee with a lot of important people that helped create this, is that in that committee, or that's just a use committee?
It may be a purview of their committee. And that we, not our first meeting yet, but that may be a purview. However, just FYI, we did broach the budget committee for staining and washing again. Thank you, Larry. Any other questions? Okay. We're time here. And a beautiful day. So next, we're just going to talk quickly about security. As you all know, we've had security guards every weekend. Last year, the community voted to put $8,000 or $9,000 into security. And I am really sad to report that every single person that's been dinged this year has been a member. And we're all paying for it. So we're paying $8,000 or $9,000, and then that tow truck comes and then somebody runs off the beach with their flag. Well, guess what happens? That tow truck has to get paid one way or another. So we're paying even more. Please, please, please pass on to your neighbors, your friends, anybody that lives here. Please just put your tag or your sticker in your car. We're all paying for this, and it's members. It's really sad. I mean, I every time, he's got to call the tow truck. He's got to call me and tell me he's calling the tow truck, and then the tow truck comes. And actually, there was a member, sadly, to report that said, "Well, call the tow truck when I see him. I'll go get my pass." So, we're paying for this. We're all paying for this.
We do.
Speak up. Rob, speak up with the question.
Thanks. I'd rather, Hayfield Road. So who pays for the tow truck if you have to call the tow truck?
So because we just started this program, the tow truck, when it comes, if it leaves without taking a vehicle because somebody's running off the beach with a pass, it's $90-some and change, so it's like $97 with tax. They have not charged us yet, but I can tell you it's coming. So not only are we paying the $9,000 a year for security, but we're gonna start paying for every time the tow truck comes, because somebody's gonna run and go get their pass, $100 a pop.
So the person involved is not being Nutley County.
Well, I think, so the board is going to revisit this and might do something a little different. And we will let that out to the community, because spending the money on the security is, in my opinion, not working. It's because it's members. So, you know, everybody's thought was that it was non-members that were violating and coming here and using our amenities, which may be true, but not one that we have caught yet has been a non-member. Not one. Thanks, Ron. So if they are towed, they will be charged $180. The member or whoever it is, hopefully it's not a member, they'll be charged $180. Belltown is closed on the weekend, which is only your security. So they will also pay an impound fee because they will not be able to get their car till Monday. Yeah, so put your tags and your decals on, please.
David, I think it's 25 Wildwood. Would you accept the motion from the floor? My motion would be, if the tow truck comes out because you don't have your sticker, you pay $100. Period.
So Dave, this is what the board's gonna talk about at our next meeting. How we're thinking about changing up. We might-
Fine. I just wanted you to accept the motion from the floor.
Yeah, I think the board's gonna talk about it. We might come up with a different, a little different, but it requires administrating.
I just feel like, these people need to be held accountable.
And I do agree.
Everybody's had plenty of warning. We all know that you need your sticker. If you're foolish enough not to put your sticker, put up to $100.
I agree, Dave.
The other thing is, like, you did have an incident
Yesterday, where the tow truck came and back up to the car, and once the tow truck's hooked up, that's it. So I asked him if he had a drop fee, and the drop fee $100, which means if you want your car right then and then, you're gonna pay them $100. Yesterday, they worked it out. I don't know what happened. The car did not get towed. But it's as simple as the tow truck company and the person worked it out. There was a payment made. Whatever they worked out, they worked out. But I will tell you, that is his drop fee. So waiting till he comes and getting your tag, if his truck is backed up to yours, you're gonna pay the drop fee.
Then Matt, 38 Lookout Drive, I'm gonna start a little bit of. When someone comes up and asks, yeah, you're going.
Don't let a tall guy sit up.
Or a short woman. When someone asks if they can make a motion, I think that you guys are supposed to accept and have a vote on it, a yes or a no, not just say. Well, it's a motion that's been brought to your attention. I think that you have to think, once a vote, it is supposed to be recognized as a motion, and then people have to vote on it for yes or no, not just say what it is.
I understand what you're saying, but I do, and I know Dave asked for a motion, but you also have to understand that charging somebody $100, the board will take that into consideration. But this membership needs to understand that we're all volunteers. That takes a lot of administration.
I realize that, but a motion is a motion. In our bylaws, I was the president 1,000 years ago. A motion is a motion.
let's see it through. Let's just somebody second the motion. Let's
I
see it.
second.
All right, so the motion.
So who made the motion? Dave, you want to make the motion again and somebody will second it? We'll do it. I mean, the motion has already been, I mean, the point of the motion is already part of the committee. Like, it's already on the table.
I'll restate the motion. My motion is, if you don't have a sticker on your vehicle, and the tow company comes out, you pay $100. The $100 fee, right, to the tow company.
Okay, so Dave's motion is if the tow truck comes out and you don't have a sticker on your car, but you're a member, you pay $100. Emma, are you seconding? Is somebody seconding that motion? Okay. There's a few hands that went up. I'll recognize Holly Landers. Is there discussion on this motion? Okay, so you come up to the mic.
In his motion.
Okay, so
Because
the,
that's the administrative issue. You can't just pay the tow company if they show up and like, there's nobody there to facilitate that.
right, but I think what Dave was saying, if it costs us $100 every time it comes out, then the person whose vehicle it was pays $100 back to the association. Am I right, Dave?
But then we have to track them down.
Okay, so that's,
So we can make the motion all we want.
that's was my point. So it creates administration. Somebody has to actually find them.
So I'm Penelope Hill and I live on 128 Lakeshore Park. And this is a discussion component, correct? I'm not going to directly talk about what was just being proposed. Though. I understand that voting. I'm going to show you. All right. I'm going back to how we all voted and decided we needed to do this anyway. And it's been passed, and I think it's been very successfully implemented, how we put it in our cars, etc. And I know that we all felt that people were coming here who were not part of the race community. Now, just in 1 year, I don't think you can really confirm this, but it sounds as if it wasn't as big an issue from that perspective as we originally thought. We aren't finding 10, 20, 30 cars that are not part of the movement. And okay, I have a question. We're saying $100,000 a year. Is that some money that we don't really need just for 2 or 3 years and find it's just people who live in it don't want to put that in? I understand that's an issue. They're not following the law. But was the law intended to stop people who were breaking the community visiting? You know, they were coming here. If that's not a problem, do we need to spend $9,000 in just a future thing to think about? So I'm trying to go into a bigger issue.
Thank you for your question. So as I said, the next board meeting will address this, and I talked with the tow company, and one of the items on the table is to actually not pay the security company, but pay the tow truck company to come here and sit here. So they're not 25 minutes away, and they'll be able to do their job more effectively. So that's a discussion on the table. I'm working out with Belltown, and we're going to talk about that in the next board meeting. So there are things that we're talking about. It is a pilot. We're not going to continue to spend money if it's just members. That's, pointless. And like I said, I'm disappointed myself. I really am.
I guess my point is this, if the tow company comes out, why would the association get the bill?
Right.
The bill should not go to the association, the bill should go to the person who violated. So to me, us paying that $9 is not right. All right, if that car was parked on the street somewhere else and the tow company came out, they're gonna charge the guy whose car they're going after. So I don't think it should be a big deal about a vote from the board that shouldn't have to think about it. The guy comes out, you're not doing something correct, you pay. It should never come to you. And if the guy's not there to take the car, it's his problem to get the car back.
Yes, yeah, that's
So,
already,
I guess my point is, why would the association pay anything?
right.
Doesn't make sense.
So it is a matter of tracking down. For instance, if I didn't know who, actually, I still don't even know the name of the person it was yesterday.
So it doesn't matter if you know it or not. That's not an issue. They're gonna come, they're after, my white truck's over there. If I don't have a sticker on it, they're gonna come take it away. The board shouldn't be concerned about that.
So Dave, are you saying the tow truck company should charge them right then and there? Right, and they do, that's what, I mean, they do have a drop charge, but they haven't been doing it because they know this is something new for us.
So they need to start doing it.
Right, the other problem is, Dave, we've had members who actually, would be on one beach without their pass and told by security they need to get their pass, they don't have a pass. They get their vehicle, so by the time the tow truck comes, they move their vehicle. So that's why I'm saying, so we need to discuss about how we're going to. Yep.
And just one more thing.
Is Lynn Macri.
It's Lynn Macri at 38, look up by the culprit here. If your car is the one that's being towed and you don't have your sticker, that car should be towed anyhow, because it's our responsibility to have a sticker on it. Then the tow truck people will get paid to have their car back. And we have nothing to do with that. We have an understanding that the tow truck is coming. We all know that, right?
Yes.
You don't have your sticker. I'm sorry. Don't wait for me to go get it.
Right.
You don't have it. We're here. We're taking your car. It's not up to any of us after that. We've all voted for it.
Yes, that is true, Lynn, and even though you say that, there are laws that we have to follow. They're not our laws, on how a tow truck, operates. So,
I've been to the races. They've towed my car because I got in the right spot. I'm following them, going, please, please stop. They're like, no, leave me at the place.
on the truck, there's no,
Right. Well, no, they were there. I was wrong. They didn't care. They didn't say, well, I'm sorry, ma'am. You're by yourself. You can't find your car.
I know, like,
Thank you.
Julia Spiali, 141 Wildwood Road. To address Penn's comment about it seems to be just members. The visual of the security guard, just so you know, the visual of the security guard and the tow truck here has discouraged the people, the non-members that were using our facilities. They actually were like, oh wow, we're gonna get towed. So that has cut that down. So that's actually helped.
Mary, again, just to address your issue about so company, we can't control what the tow company does. They have a drop fee, then they have a drop fee. That's their responsibility. What we're talking about is how do we administer some kind of fine if they miraculously move their car from one beach to the other. So I understand what you're saying, but that's up to the tow company, not us. Right.
The tow company knows what it is. Whoever would pay a tow company, sorry, David, it's been 25 while whoever reported to the tow company to come in, they know what the car is, they know the license plate number. So, laws, yeah, right. It's not a big deal, but I'd like to call a vote, please.
again, I'd like to just remind everybody, we would need a mechanism to, administer that.
Maybe contrary to Forest Way, just to read, under Robert's Rules of Order, a motion from the floor to fine members for breaking a beach park rule is out of order and invalid unless your organization's pre-existing bylaws specifically authorize the assessment of fines. You have no inherent power to fine. According to Robert's Rules of Order, newly revised, or an assembly or club has no disciplinary power to impose a financial penalty. So I don't know if you could do that unless it's already written into your bylaws.
It's written in our bylaws. So actually, it's in our charter, that we can fine up to $100. However, we, again, don't have that administration in place. And typically, when you, start finding people, you'll actually need an appeals committee as well. So please keep this in mind when you vote for this. I'll be bringing volunteers to administer this. Is there any further discussion on this motion?
Can we read the votes again?
So the motion on the floor is if a member has a no sticker or no hang tag, and the tow truck comes and they only use their tag or their, sticker before their vehicle is on the tow truck, and once it's on the tow truck, it's the tow trucks. That we fine them $100, regardless.
They pay the tow company. We don't get involved in the fees at all.
But
That's not how the tow truck company.
That's not the motion, we're voting on a motion.
But you're voting on a motion that, I'm telling you, the tow truck does not, we don't, it goes through them, not through us.
Right, we can't control that, so why do we, like, what, we don't have.
Points. My point is. Sure. Sorry. Lord, that's my point, okay? The problem is between the owner of the car and the tow truck. Is that better?
Yeah.
Sorry. My point is, the discussions between the tow company and the owner of the vehicle. Okay? The board has nothing to do with it. The board made the decision to utilize the tow company, right? So if they're gonna find some, they're not finding the board, they're finding the owner. By motion, if they come out, the owner pays the tow company.
So we have a
Right, so that's my motion.
right, we have a contract with Belltown, and the contract says, even if they tow dig, okay, wait, let me just finish this. Even if they tow, we get charged $180. When the member or non-member goes to pick up their vehicle is when we get reimbursed. That is the contract with the tow truck
Then
company.
that needs to be changed.
Right, yeah.
So
If that's the contract, then I guess my motion is on the board.
that's what I was trying to tell
You
you.
didn't say that.
So there's,
I rescind my motion. Okay. If you need to fix it.
and that's why I said the board's gonna revisit this. But thank you, Dave, and I'm glad that it was more informative to the community now. So it really is, it's up to the tow company. But it's on our agenda for our next board meeting. Okay. So please put your parking passes in your car.
Allison George, 36 Forest Way. Just want to comment about the security, which I love. They have the ability to enforce all of the rules, not just the parking.
That's correct. Yes. Okay, so I will, pass, actually, I'm gonna pass this on. We're into new business now. If there's no other questions on security.
Jim Hefner, 39 Forest Way. Just according to clarity, no smoking at the beaches, is that a correct assumption?
Yes.
So, about a year and a half ago, there's a young lady, I brought it up, she chopped off my head. And I've seen some long-time posts by nice people that are smoking at Second Beach. Are we gonna post signs, or do we make it clear in the newsletter? Because it's happening. And I'm gonna get my head chopped off again. Thank you.
Signs, and I learned, from the security company that in Second Beach, there's a little conflicting sign, because one says no smoking and one says please leave with your butts. So, so we do, you know, we did improve our signage, and we, as imperfect as we are, we missed one. But there are no smoking on the beach. I think there's a sign. But that is true. No smoking in the pavilion, no smoking on the beaches, no smoking on POALH property. Anything else on public safety? Okay, I'm gonna move on to our last order of business. It's a new business, and it's the Board of Governors Financial Initiatives and the subcommittee. And I'll have Dave Giroux talk to you a little bit about that.
Because it's not as interesting as security. So the budget committee said to us that they needed guidance with respect to what our reserves should look like and what our budget should look like. So we started exploring what we had in our bylaws and found that it wasn't clear what we should or should not have in reserves. Secondly, we found that there are state laws that govern what we should be doing, and that was part of the discovery process. Based on that and the fact that we really don't have an idea of what our adequate reserves should be, we decided to put together a subcommittee of board members to develop financial guidelines. And over the next few months, that's one of the things that we're going to do. We're going to put some financial guidelines together and hopefully incorporate those into the bylaws. So at this point, we're just trying to share with the community what we're intending to do. And I'm wondering if there's any questions with respect to that.
Keith Marvin, 17 Ridgewood, member of the budget committee. The question I have is, that's going to be voted on next August to put them in the bylaws? I mean, I assume it has to be.
We envision it as going to a recommendation of the bylaws committee and incorporate it into the bylaws. And then it would be put to the community.
Okay, you said it was going to be made up of board members. Are there any outside people in that?
We haven't discussed that as of yet. It just came up under new business the last.
Okay. All right, I suggest also that you look at Hampton and other taxing districts, kind of like ours, what the reserves are, what the basis of those things are.
Sure. Thank you. Thanks. Any other questions? No.
Thank you, Dave. That's all I have under new business. If there's any other new business? Okay, like a motion to adjourn. There's not another report. They haven't started yet, Dave. And please, don't forget that, Lynn Christie is here with a special assessment council. And there are, kind of sheets at the table.
Yeah, guy who did this. Yeah.